War Photographer in 5 minutes. So the title again is a simplistic one here, establishing that the importance of this character is the job that he does. And in third person it then goes on to tell the story of him when he returns home from the war. It's not about his experiences in the war, obviously on the surface. He only thinks back to them. So this is very much a poem that deals with memory as much as experience. It starts with the image of him in the darkroom developing his pictures. And what do we see first of all? We see this extended metaphor in which he is like a priest. And there's lots of things you could pick out from that. Is he responsible for the souls of the people in his congregation that are going to see his things? Quite possibly. We then get a list of various places of war, going further east and going further in probably the extent of the conflict. So going further away and going harsher, which leads him to quote this Bible reference. Jesus said it himself, all flesh is grass. In Jesus' terms, this was the idea that the body is just a temporary container for the soul, but obviously for him, what he is seeing is how fragile the body is. Okay? He starts to develop his photographs. The solutions are slopping around the trays beneath his hand. What do we get? We get this idea of that his hands didn't tremble when he was out there, they do now. The sense of the trauma, how it is worse after the event. When he experiences it, he holds steadiness. Now he suffers from it. He's here in England, in a very simple place that he struggles to go with. First of all, he uses the oxymoron of ordinary pain, okay, to describe how distant he feels from what people are suffering around here and the extraordinary that he sees. Essentially, what happens here, emphasised by the idea of the fields that don't explode beneath the feet of running children in a nightmare heat, is that the extraordinary has become ordinary to him, and he struggles to cope with what others see as ordinary. Then we get the developing of one of the photos here. A stranger's features finally start to twist before his eyes, and I think the twist is quite interesting in terms of the fact that this is not a pleasant experience. And the half-formed ghost. There's a sense of irony in here, because on the one hand you're talking about this as a picture being developed in which he's starting to come back, but in a sense that it's starting to come into focus, but also the sense that he is dead, and therefore this sense that pictures are almost representations of those who are dead at that particular point. He remembers the man's wife, who he sought approval without words. This is again a kind of a moral dilemma that sits at the heart of his job. Okay, is it right what he's doing, taking photographs of people dying, and the blood stains into foreign dust, foreign to him of course, not necessarily to the person who dies. 100 agonies in black and white is how he identifies the pictures that he has developed. And again, we've got the contrast between the 5 or 6 that the editor will pick out and the hundreds that there are, which kind of makes it seem like they're picking and choosing. Makes it seem, I suppose, less significant than it is. That ones like the description of the previous one might just be pushed to one side. Yet they're in black and white, they're in absolute clarity here. So, to be honest with you, we might well look at that and think, well, fair enough for the editor to only pick out 5 or 6, but you can see how the war photographer is feeling. He then imagines the readers Their eyeballs prick with tears between the bath and the pre-lunch beers, rhyming beers and tears to show the kind of like what he sees as the kind of fake emotions that they feel. I don't know what he really expects, but that idea that their lives just go on at normal. And what this turns into is a sense of apathy. He becomes impassive because he feels that others around him don't care and he's just earning his living. Everything turns him into a sense of apathy at the suffering he sees and what is going on.